Hello everyone, my name is Rafia. Today I will present our work Mina, a multilingual LLM-powered legal assistant agent built to widen access to justice in Bangladesh. This is joint work with my co-authors and it appears in the ACL 2026 findings. Let me start with why this problem matters. Bangladesh's justice system is under heavy load. As of 2024, more than 3.7 million cases are pending, and some estimates put that number as high as 4.4 million. The country has only around 2,100 judges, which is close to one judge for every 90,000 citizens. A single case can take anywhere from 10 to 60 years to resolve. Lawyer fees are not regulated and the legal aid is underfunded, so the courts cannot absorb the demand and most citizens cannot afford the market. You might ask, why not just use an existing legal AI tool? The problem is that Bangladesh is difficult on three fronts at once. First, language. Bengali has little annotated data and English-centric models struggle with its script and word structure. Second, jurisdiction. The law is common law inherited from British rule and uses Farsi-influenced terms that generic models cannot read correctly. Third, access. The people who need help most often have low digital literacy, weak internet, and no affordable formal channel. Generic assistants miss on all three. So, we built Mina as a team of agents. There are three parts. First, the orchestrator agent decides. It reads the query, the chat history, and any uploaded documents. Then, it chooses whether to answer directly or to call retrieval. Second, the RAG agent retrieves. It generates keywords, runs a two-stage vector lookup, and checks whether what it found actually matches the question. Third, a small tool suite augments the answer, and we call these tools only when needed to keep the system fast and legally accurate. This diagram shows the flow end to end. A query comes in on the left. The orchestrator checks context, decides if retrieval is needed, and if so, hands off to the RAG agent. The RAG agent pulls from our database of Bangladeshi acts and sections, assesses the quality of what it retrieved, and loops back if the match is weak. Once the context is solid, the system composes the final answer. Let me explain the retrieval in plain terms because this is the core idea. We retrieve in two stages. In stage 1, we search summaries of every Bangladeshi act and keep the top 5. In stage 2, we look only inside those 5 acts, pull the relevant sections, re-rank them, and keep the top 10. Then the model reasons over that grounded set. Why 2 stages? Because it stops the model from mixing up unrelated laws that happen to share similar words. The toolkit is small and specific. A keyword generator produces search terms with a simple fallback when context is thin. A relevance analyzer tracks whether a long conversation stays on topic. For outside information, we use web search and a page parser. A custom Bengali legal dictionary explains colonial era and Farsi terms in plain words. A file reader handles PDF, Word, and slide uploads. And a socio-economic simulator lets us study how factors like income affect legal access. To test Mina fairly, we did not invent our own benchmark. We used the real Bangladesh Bar Council exam across all three of its stages for 2 years. Stage 1 is a multiple choice preliminary where the human pass mark is 50 out of 100. Stage 2 is a written exam. 13 questions across 6 legal areas graded by at least 2 law faculty evaluators with strong agreement between them. Stage 3 is the Viva, an oral exam, which we ran as a live chat with 5 evaluators per session. Here are the multiple choice result. The key finding is simple. Two-stage RAG together with tools is what pushes models past the human pass bar. Note that the real human pass rate in 2023 was only about 18%, so this exam is hard. With our full setup, strong models like Gemini 2.5 Flash and Qwen 330B reaches the mid 70s. Without retrieval, the same models sit far lower. Retrieval and tools are doing the heavy lifting. The written exam shows the same pattern and even more clearly. As we move from left to right, from no retrieval to naive RAG to two-stage RAG to full tools, scores rise at every step. The best configurations reach the low 80s, which sits at or above the typical human range of 40 to 60% for this stage. The oral exam is where the system reasons under conversational pressure and it holds up well. With full tools, the top models score around 80. That is strong. But this is also where the remaining gap sits because the human pass rate here is 96 to 97%. So Mina reasons well in dialogue and closing the last gap to the human ceiling is an open direction. Now, the practical point. A basic legal consultation in Bangladesh costs between 2,000 and 10,000 taka. Mina answers a short query for well under $1, a written length query for a few dollars, and a full multi-turn session for under $10. That makes it 99.4 to 99.9% cheaper than a human consultation, which is the difference between out of reach and affordable. We also looked closely at where the model still fails, and the pattern is instructive. The failures cluster around procedure. In the multiple choice stage, models confuse the Bengali words for and or, which changes the meaning of a legal condition, and the misrank procedural rules. In the written stage, they sometimes cite statutes that do not exist or drop a required step. In the Viva, when facts are unclear, the model commits to an answer instead of asking a clarifying question. These are the fixes we are targeting next. That is Mina, a low-cost, multilingual legal assistant that clears real bar exam thresholds while staying affordable. Thank you for listening. I am happy to take your questions.